Another day, another batch of data mined information. So let's discuss. The data mined information this time around is actually in-game items, fully modeled in-game items, items that look like they're ready to go in the game. For those who don't know, items in-game right now probably deconfirm characters, so Noel's probably not happening. And the same would go for any additional item that's added to the game. That's why this conversation is interesting, because this could theoretically deconfirm the characters we're about to talk about. The reason we assume items deconfirm characters is because the Ultimate Edition of the game lists 9 DLC characters along with their costumes and moves. So if a character's items are already in the game, that description can't be accurate because it won't come along with said items, unless you're just unlocking them, which would be quite strange wording. We already know about Ichigo's Horn of Salvation, which actually currently isn't unlockable in the game, but we did have a chance to play with it during the beta. So what's going on with that? That Horn of Salvation should be in the game, and it actually is in the game files, but there's no way to obtain the item as a regular player right now. My theory on this is that it will be unlocked through the premium shop. For those who don't remember, there used to be a shop in the game next to the regular shop in the beta. This was called the premium shop. We don't know what the function of the premium shop actually is. There's a few different theories floating around. I'll just read them off for now. One is that it's just going to be a microtransaction store where you spend real money to purchase in-game cosmetic items. And I know a lot of people are super anti-microtransaction, but personally, if I have to pay for additional cosmetics, and that's what ends up funding additional DLC for the game, I am more than willing to pay that price. It could also just be a shop that has specific items that rotate out frequently. It could also just be a shop with a specific currency that hasn't been added to the game yet. For example, we know the game runs off some type of ranked season, and if that's the case, perhaps maybe at the end of every season we get a type of currency. If I had to guess what the premium shop is though, I would imagine it's probably just going to be a microtransaction system. But regardless of whatever the premium shop actually ends up being, I do think that's where Ichigo's Horn of Salvation will be, along with these additional data mined items. So let's go over them. Starting off with Baron's mask thing. Baron is a Dragon Quest character, and based off of the word of a close friend of mine who is far more knowledgeable on Dragon Quest than I am, it sounds like Baron would be a quote-unquote unlikely character from Dragon Quest. Like, already Dragon Quest is pretty unlikely to receive a second rep, at least in my opinion. So if we were to get a Dragon Quest rep, said friend thinks that this one would be an unlikely pick. So I doubt at this point we would use Baron's item to point towards him being DLC. Similar things can be said about Whitebeard, whose facial hair is in the game. Based on what I understand about Whitebeard, his inclusion, especially as DLC, would be a little bit repetitive considering we have Blackbeard on the main roster, especially when you consider the wide range of One Piece characters that would be far more marketable as DLC. Most interestingly, and from what I gather through Twitter and various conversations I've had so far, most controversially, is Overhaul's mask. For those out of the loop, Overhaul is the primary villain of the next season of My Hero Academia, which doesn't drop until October. Revealing a move that Deku uses in the manga, I think, is much different than revealing an entire character and their moveset as DLC. If we did get DLC for Overhaul, I don't think we would be getting it until after his season of My Hero Academia had progressed enough that his presence wouldn't be shocking to anime-only viewers. If I'm right about that, which I think I am, I don't think we would be getting Overhaul until around November or December, which I suppose is possible, but would a character who's so far away from being released be finished enough that their items are already in the game? I don't even think they would have started developing a character who's going to be released that later down the line, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But considering a DLC character that is heavily rumored right now and data mined is Seto Kaiba doesn't have any items in-game right now. You can't find them. They don't exist, at least as far as I'm aware, and I'm pretty sure that these items don't point towards characters but instead deconfirm them, because if they're not pointing towards DLC, they're probably pointing towards being added to either the premium shop or some other method of unlockable. Just to end things off, I think if they were adding any of these characters as DLC, we would probably have other in-game files pointing towards that fact. Like for example, with Kaiba, we have multiple points of evidence pointing in his direction, which is why I think Kaiba is going to be a DLC character. But in the case of these characters, as much as I would like to see Overhaul, the only thing pointing towards these characters are the items. And if that's the case, then the only reasonable option I can see is that these are about to be added to either the premium shop or some other method of unlockable, which will be awesome because we'll be able to use these items and create some of these characters, but simultaneously it will be a bit disappointing because it will deconfirm these characters at the same time. That's what I have to say on the matter. If you enjoyed the video and you appreciate me keeping you in the loop, subscribe to keep up to date with future content, leave a like on the video because it helps other people find it. My name's been Bilbzy, and I will see you in the next video.